the Broncos try to get DeMeco Ryans at the last minute, try and snake him from going to Houston, and then turn to Sean Payton? Is that what your reporting is, Ian?
Well, this search has been a winding road for the Denver Broncos, and it basically started with three top candidates. It started with Dan Quinn, who of course eventually went back. It started with Jim Harbaugh, and it started with Sean Payton. At various points, they decided that DeMeco Ryans would be their guy because his interview absolutely blew away Greg Penner specifically. Then they took a secret trip to Ann Arbor to go visit your friend Jim Harbaugh, who told them, I'm good. I'm just going to stick in Michigan for at least another year. Tune in next year for when we do this all again. And then they went back to DeMeco Ryans, who at that point made it clear, actually, I want to go to the Houston Texans, so I'm not doing a deal, but Houston is where I want to be. At that point, they went to Sean Payton, who obviously was, one of their top choices to start, but he is where he is in the pecking order in this instance. Then my understanding is at some point in there went to DeMeco as well to make sure that, see if his deal was in fact getting done in Houston, and then agreed to terms with Sean Payton to be their next head coach.
Okay. $20 million a year? What are you hearing? What's your thoughts?
I don't have firm numbers, but my guess is that's where it probably will land.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, look, the organization. Yeah, I mean, he was rich anyway, but
no, I know, but good for him.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he landed in an okay place. There were not a lot of great jobs this year. Everyone had a little something wrong with it. I feel like the Texans was probably the best because you could build from the ground up. Panthers was also really good because you just needed a quarterback. But, with the Broncos, you have Russell Wilson, obviously. You have good defense, but a lot of money in a quarterback who did not play well last year. It's an organization that they probably need some work, and I would assume he was going to get to work on that. But, that's where he ended up. And, I think it was pretty clear that he wanted to be in coaching this year rather than be on TV. So this is, kind of how it transpired.
And so DeMeco Ryans going to Houston, how did that become so solid? Is it because of his background with the franchise in the city? Is that essentially it, or what? What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, first of all, I would say he was clearly the Texans' first choice. They were his first choice. This was one that I think just made too much sense. And Nick Caserio, when you're looking for a coach, and obviously they've done this a couple times in a row. From my understanding, the biggest thing here is just who's the best leader. And for those of us who have spoken to DeMeco Ryans or spoken to people who know him or watch him as a player, this is a born leader. And he comes at a really critical time in the franchise when they bottomed out. They are in good salary cap space. They got the number 2 overall pick. They need a quarterback. And their culture is about to start heading in the right direction. And he's, to me, the perfect guy to do it.
And so what about the rest of the openings? And who are they tagging? What do you got for me on the Cardinals and Colts right now?
Cardinals, Lou Anarumo is interviewing today, and Brian Callahan, those are the 2 Bengals coordinators. They're interviewing today and tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Presumably they would come to a decision then. The interesting thing for me is going to be, let's say the Cardinals don't come to a decision. Let's say they just say, okay, we're continuing our search. Well, that will make you think that they are targeting someone who's still playing. And to me, Jonathan Gannon would be the one if they are targeting someone still playing. So that would be kind of interesting to see where that goes.
The DC of Philadelphia is what you're saying.
Yeah, someone who I think, was considered to be a really strong candidate with the Houston Texans as well. So that's one thing. The Colts are going to interview Shane Steichen still. I believe that is their 7th and final second-round interview. Pretty thorough process.
Right.
And then, they're going to pick someone. And I think the early thought was that, it's probably going to be Jeff Saturday. I'm not so sure we're there anymore. I mean, I still think he has a chance, but it seems like some of the candidates did really well. Raheem Morris, I've heard, has done very well. I think that's, certainly one to watch. Sounds like Rich Bisaccia has done really well. I mean, I think there's a lot of guys who have. I'll be curious to see what they pick. But, seven finalists, tough to know which direction they're going right now.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.